Anyone who has spent time with a Sigma INFJ can attest to their difficulty being pleased. Given their high standards and emotional depth, this is absolutely true. But what particular things will not please Sigma INFJs? 10. Empty and superficial discussions. The intellectual stimulation that Sigma INFJs need is not provided by superficial talks. Empty small chat is meaningless and avoids talking about the more important things in life, such social problems, philosophical ideas, or personal development. Sigma INFJs thrive on in-depth, thought-provoking conversations that alter their viewpoints and deepen their comprehension of the universe. They like talks that explore feelings, goals, ideals, and deep concepts. For Sigma INFJs, meaningful relationships are crucial, and superficial interactions do not promote sincere bonds. They want connections with people who are willing to delve deeply into their ideas and feelings, and they respect honesty and openness. Sigma INFJs long for connections that feed their souls and pique their intellectual curiosity. They find empty and unfulfilling interactions with others. 9. False flattery. Because they have a high sense of intuition and genuineness, Sigma INFJs are not readily moved by false flattery when courting. When someone is being dishonest or using flattery as a cunning ploy, they can tell right away. Honesty and sincerity are crucial in developing sincere interactions for Sigma INFJs. Sincerity and sincerity, which are essential to Sigma INFJs in every relationship, are undermined by false flattery. They cherish deep friendships built on respect and understanding for one another. They may believe that hollow remarks or overly enthusiastic praise lack the depth and sincerity they are looking for. Sigma INFJs value sincere respect and appreciation that come from a position of genuineness. They are more interested in developing a closer relationship with someone, learning about their principles, and sharing life-changing events. Do you also look for companions that are sincere, open, and eager to have a close emotional connection with you? 8. The notion of conformance. The essential characteristics of the Sigma INFJ are creativity, personal development, and true self-expression. Conformity stifles these traits. They are inspired by those who dare to question norms and think creatively. Sigma INFJs like people who aren't afraid to stand out from the crowd, promote innovation, and push the envelope. They are also motivated by their inherent ideals and want to have a positive effect on the world. They think that embracing their uniqueness and contributing in a special way is how real change and advancement occur. According to them, conformity prevents true transformation and stunts human development. Sigma INFJs have a strong sense of individualism and a natural dislike to social standards. Thus, they will never be impressed by the concept of uniformity. They cherish their distinctive viewpoints and don't follow the pack. 7. The presence of superficial relationships. The deep emotional and introspective nature of Sigma INFJs makes them unlikely to be moved by superficial connections. The yearning for genuine encounters and deep connections is well known among INFJs. They place a high emphasis on relationships that have depth, emotional closeness, and sincere understanding. Their core ideals and desires are not in line with shallow relationships, which are defined by superficial interactions and surface-level connections. They frequently choose solitude over fleeting social engagements, preferring to watch and study social processes from a distance. They see relationships based on shared principles, respect for one another, and sincere emotional ties. Their desire for real interaction is not met by superficial relationships, which can also be tiring or seem pointless to them. Instead, Sigma INFJs prefer connections that provide in-depth dialogue, emotional openness, and intellectual stimulation. They prioritize relationships that connect with their inner world, give them a feeling of authenticity, and give them a sense of purpose over relationships that are more numerous. Do you avoid social interactions that lack emotional depth? 6. The pursuit of prestige for its own sake. They find little interest in the concept of achieving status just for the sake of pleasing others or meeting social expectations. Instead, Sigma INFJs are more likely to place a higher priority on their own development and fulfillment while also having a good influence on others' lives. They place a high emphasis on honesty, decency, and leading a life consistent with their basic principles. If one's material assets or social standing do not enhance their feeling of purpose, or true connections with others, they do not retain much significance. The strong feeling of individualism that Sigma INFJs have makes them resistant to being influenced by social pressures or standards. They prioritize their principles and passions over pursuing fame, prestige, or other forms of external validation in order to find meaning and fulfillment in their life. 5. Adopting untested notions. Sigma INFJs are known for their contemplative attitude and a strong quest for knowledge and the reality. They are therefore unlikely to be moved by untested ideas. INFJs typically have a natural propensity for introspection and intellectual pique. They also stress the need of studying and critically evaluating one's views and thoughts. They endeavor to comprehend the fundamental causes and principles that underlie their beliefs. They place a high importance on coherence and intellectual honesty in their worldview. Unexamined beliefs are those that are accepted without consideration or challenge, which are in opposition to their search for knowledge and understanding. 4. People's ostentatious displays of riches. For a Sigma INFJ, material things and excessive shows of riches are of little importance. It's because they are aware that one's character, experiences, and significant relationships are what truly define one's value. Sigma INFJs place a high value on depth and sincerity, which are attributes that are frequently hidden by ostentatious displays of wealth. Pursuing material items for status or looks has little meaning for Sigma INFJs. They understand that genuine contentment and satisfaction originate inside, rather than from outside approval. They value those who are genuinely humble, modest, and focused on their own development rather than showing off their financial prosperity. The complexity of human nature, researching big concepts, and deepening relationships with others are more interests of Sigma INFJs. Over the superficial trappings of money, they place a higher importance on genuine connections, emotional depth, and intellectual stimulation. For Sigma INFJs, a person's actual impressiveness ultimately rests in their character traits rather than their worldly belongings. 3. Being superficially attractive. Sigma INFJs are skilled at looking past outward attractiveness and concentrating on the inner lives of others. They are less enthralled by surface beauty and more interested in learning about a person's ideals, depth of intellect, and character. They think that sincerity, generosity, and emotional depth are the qualities of great beauty. For Sigma INFJs, attractiveness that is solely dependent on looks does not carry significance. They are more drawn to people who are intellectually stimulating, have beautiful souls, and are kind. Sigma INFJs look for relationships that are sincere and based on shared ideals, emotional closeness, and comprehension of one another, realizing that these traits are important for building long-lasting partnerships. What does beauty mean to you? 2. Attention-seeking conduct. The Sigma INFJ prefers to look for depth and substance in relationships because they appreciate real connections and meaningful interactions that go beyond passing attention. They value people who are true, real, and committed to meaningful interaction as opposed to vying for attention for the purpose of approval or outside recognition. The primary ideals of Sigma INFJs are opposed by attention-seeking conduct, which might be seen as being untrue or manipulative. These people place a high value on sincerity, profundity of emotion, and intellectual challenge. They prize relationships that promote meaningful exchanges, sincere understanding, and progress for both parties. The actual connection and emotional closeness that Sigma INFJs desire are frequently obscured by attention-seeking conduct, which can be seen as a diversion or a flimsy effort to get momentary approval. 1. Ignorance and narrow-mindedness. Sigma INFJs have a predisposition to look for greater significance and knowledge in life. They are driven by a great desire to learn more, to question their own assumptions, and to investigate new concepts. Their pursuit of information and personal development is thwarted by ignorance, which demonstrates a lack of awareness or a reluctance to study. Similar to how open-mindedness fits with Sigma INFJs, close-mindedness is the reluctance to novel ideas or viewpoints. They value people who are prepared to have serious conversations, take into account opposing points of view, and value intellectual diversity. Do you actively try to broaden your awareness of other people's opinions as a result of your desire for knowledge? A Sigma INFJ will never be moved by things like superficial beauty, attention-seeking conduct, untested views, ignorance, or narrow-mindedness. Instead, they look for sincere relationships, deep dialogue, intellectual curiosity, and open-mindedness. Understanding these unimportant elements enables Sigma INFJs to be authentic and keep their attention on what is most to them. What additional things don't you find impressive as an INFJ Sigma? What about these items bothers you?